Hi guys, we are going to do one more RC as part of the series. I hope this series is benefiting you guys. I mean, in every episode of this, I try to give you the techniques, including organized reading and process of elimination, and how to identify the question stems. So I sincerely hope this is working in your favor. I'm going to give you one more nice RC. Let's move on and see what this says. The objectives stay the same: understanding the main idea, mapping the passage, locating the important zones around which questions can be set, then pinning the types of questions, and then of course using the elimination techniques. You got to learn all these. Okay, make these things very strong, and then you'll see how easy RC becomes. I have got a passage here taken from GMAT repository. Now that's free repository, we all know that. And I have seen that some questions of GMAT actually really work for CAT. So let's see what this one says. This is a nice passage that has 4 paragraphs. Okay. Most students arrive at college using discrete, concrete and absolute categories to understand people. Now this is what this is talking about: students, dualistic, multiplicity. What is it exactly? I don't know. So third stage, I can see that the flow of the passage is very nice. Okay, and then I can see some concepts are there: commitment, relativism, dualism. Okay, then I'll go over to the questions and see. Students who are dualistic thinkers may not be able to support their beliefs convincingly because dualistic. So I understand that this is the first concept, right? Then which of the following assertions is supported by the passage? So this is a conclusion question, but this is not overall conclusion. This is connected with every paragraph. Okay. Which one of the following kinds of thinking is not described in the passage? So true, 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 and one is false. Then we have a big question. Okay. If students were asked to write essays on the different concepts, okay. Now the thought that comes to mind is maybe this Cordelia and Antigone are mentioned in the passage, and then accordingly I have to go and read the concept and look for the answer. But then when I just see the options, I can see here relativist, dualist, multiplicity, commitment. Oh, okay. So what is this question asking me? It's giving me a situation here. Like generally what happens in application questions is the situation is given here. And then, I mean, the different situations are given here. So you have to go and read the concept from the passage and then pick the situation that best provides an analogy. Okay. Analogizes, no, that's not a word actually. So that best provides an analogy to this. Okay, but here in this case what they are simply doing is they are giving us a situation here. Okay, Cordelia, Antigone, maybe it's not mentioned in the passage, and then we have to read this situation and understand it's relativist, dualist, multiplicity or commitment. So basically I can see the questions are all around these 4 different types that are being discussed, है ना? तो ये हमको देख के समझ में आ रहा है that yes, these are the paragraphs and I have to read these. Describes the organization. Organization means flow of the passage. How has he developed the passage? He has started with a claim and then gone on to give some advantages, disadvantages, then he has gone to refute that claim, or he has started with a claim, refuted it, and then given examples to support his claim. Whatever it is, we'll have to see organization and flow. Now, by reading these questions, I understand that there are 4 paragraphs and each para is discussing something different, but all connected with the main idea, right? So most students arrive at college using discrete, concrete and absolute categories. Absolute. Orthodox. Not moving. To understand people, knowledge and values, these students live with a dualistic view. That reminds me of René Descartes and his dualism theory, which says that there are only 2 things: black and white, life and death, agony and happiness, right and wrong, good and bad, ऐसा. So dualistic view, seeing the world in polar terms, extreme terms of we are right and good, others are wrong and bad. These people are What would you say? These people are intolerant of others' perspectives. These students cannot acknowledge the existence of more than one point. Intolerant. Okay, they come with absolute, discrete, concrete, ekdam cemented. There is one right way, and because these absolutes are assumed from external authority, they are given by external authority, they cannot be personally, okay, these students, all right. Now, the first para, last 3 lines. These are important. I'm going to read those carefully. These students are slaves to the generalization of their authorities. These viewpoints have been passed on to them by the authorities. An eye for an eye. Badla. Capital punishment is apt justice for murder. The Bible says so. Who says so? The Bible says so. So there are only two things. There are only two choices. The false dilemma fallacy is there. And then they say capital punishment is apt justice for murder. Now this makes me think, why is the author introducing this here? The Bible says so, capital punishment is apt justice for murder. He is just trying to show that these are passed on down the generations. These people, these students turn to authority. Turn to authority means, oh, the grandfather said so. Oh, Dadaji ne aisa bola tha, Nanaji ne aisa bola tha. Oh, my parents said so. Our experts said so. The CEO says so. Right, so the Bible says so, and that's why they believe this. Take the case of religion. We take it forward year after year, generation after generation, and people continue doing those inane and insane things that had been done long back, and people do not even question the rationality. They just go on doing it because it has always been done this way. Right, okay. So capital punishment is apt justice for murder. Now, when I go down to the second para and I see most students break through the dualistic stage, another equally frustrating stage, multiplicity. Multiplicity, as the name suggests, there are multiple viewpoints, variety of ways. He says here, given any topic, however, something, okay, you can skim a little bit, because there are so many questions related to these. You'll have to come back. So multiplicity, now what the thought that comes to mind is, if they have variety of choices, variety of ways to deal with a situation, are they able to make the choices, make the decisions on their own? I'm sure kuch to aisa different hoga, because here in the first one there was an authority, but here he says equally frustrating stage. So these people are no better off than the previous ones, right? तो फिर क्या फायदा हुआ इतने choice का? While students, okay, consider to be the students in the multiplistic age are unable to connect instances. Every assertion is valid. Each one is correct. In their democracy, means according to them, they are directionless because everybody is right. Capital punishment? What sense is there in answering one murder with another? Why has he brought capital punishment again here? Maybe he's trying to talk about capital punishment with the help of these different types of people. I don't know. This is the thought that comes to mind. I mean, this should actually pique your curiosity. Why is he mentioning this again? What sense is there in answering one murder with another? So anyway, in a nutshell, we understand these people have too many choices, but this stage is equally frustrating as the previous one. These people are unable to connect instances. Okay. The next one is living in a world of relativism. As the name itself suggests, relativity is what? My freedom stands in relation to your happiness. I mean, if I just decide that I have to go all out and stand there in the park and I have to scream at the top of my lungs, that is my freedom. But then relativism says that I have to consider the feelings of others. So here it says knowledge is relative, right and wrong depend on the context. That's enough for me. Context. No longer, okay, connected students in this, what? Are they better off? View the world analytically. Oh, at least a little better. Rationally. They appreciate authority for its expertise, but they defend their own generalizations. They accept or reject, okay, systematically evaluating its validity. In this stage, however, इससे भी खुश नहीं है author. Students resist decision making. They don't want to decide. Suffering the ambivalence, this or that. Finding several, okay. Overwhelmed by diversity, need means for managing it. Capital punishment, again. Appropriate justice in some instances. कुछ तो खेल रहा है यहाँ author. In the final stage, students manage diversity through individual commitment. Students do not deny relativism. Rather, they assert an identity forming commitment, and assuming responsibility. I am responsible for this. Personal experience, oh thank God. Pehla wala mein to there was no personal experience, it was only authority. Here they gain personal experience into a coherent framework. The individual has chosen to join a particular community and agrees to live by its principles. Okay, the accused, capital punishment again, has had the benefit of due process to guard his civil rights. Jury of peers has found him guilty, and so he will be hanged. Right to end his life. This is a principle my community and I endorse. Sarcastic tone. Oh, this is a principle, and this is a principle which is endorsed by my community, and I live in that community. So we understand in this passage there are only 4 neat paragraphs, each one talking about a different type of people. You can call it type or stage. Okay. Now, first one. Students who are dualistic thinkers may not be able to support their beliefs convincingly. I remember we read something about authority and the students not being able to do anything out of their own experience because they followed authority. Most of their beliefs cannot be supported by arguments. They have accepted their truths simply because authorities have said these things are true. Authorities, I'll keep this. They half believe and half disbelieve just about everything. The teachers almost always think that dualistic thinkers are wrong. Teachers and all out of scope, so I'll take you back and we'll see. Polar terms. Polaristic, right versus wrong. We are right, others are wrong. Cannot acknowledge more than one point of view. One right way. They are absolute, external authority. They cannot personally be substantiated by experience. Authorities ka they are slaves. Okay. Now, teacher, are they trying to give an analogy? Their teachers authority bola hai, almost always think that the dualistic thinkers are wrong. Still, almost always red flag. Most of their beliefs, the paragraph doesn't say anything like this. Red flag. So I'm left with B and C. Now between B and C, which one, at least first look for the difference. They have accepted their truths because authorities, the authority, family authority, society authority, whoever has said, they half believe and half disbelieve. No, the paragraph doesn't talk about them believing or disbelieving. They believe because it has been passed on down to them from their authorities, from their ancestors. So, this is the answer. Cool. Next. Which one of the following assertions is supported by the passage? Committed, relativistic, multiplicity, dualistic, all 4 are there. Now, supported by the passage bole to it's a conclusion and I'm looking for one true. The others are false. They are not supported by the passage. Okay. Dualistic abhi humne solve kiya. Question 1. I'll first look at that. Dualistic thinkers have thought out the reasons for taking their positions. Thought out the reasons. They don't think, they don't have any experience, nothing. They just do what is given to them. They have no reasons. Analytical to bahut baad mein aaya in another stage. Right? So this is out. Right? Then multiplicity thinkers have difficulty understanding the relationships between different points of view. Multiplicity. Difficulty understanding. Unable to produce evidence. Okay. Unable to connect instances into coherent generalizations. Coherent. Something that is understandable. So they are not able to connect instances into some overall picture. Okay. For them, everything is valid because they live in a democracy, and in their democracy, everybody is right. Okay, so here multiplicity thinkers have difficulty understanding looks good to me, I'll keep it. Relativistic thinkers have learned how to make sense out of the world and have chosen their own positions in it. Learned how to make sense out of the world, chosen. Okay, relativistic, यहाँ देख लो. Knowledge is relative, context ठीक है. Recognizing, examine everything. Okay. While the multiplist, the previous one, views the world as unconnected, उनको कुछ समझ नहीं आता था, almost random, the relativist seeks always to place phenomena into larger patterns, the bigger pictures. Students in this stage view the world analytically, thinkers, rational. They appreciate authority for its expertise. बोला है दादाजी ने, okay, fine, but I use it to defend my own generalization, own connection. In addition, they accept or reject. Fine, बहुत तारीफ हो गई. However, students resist decision making, suffering the ambivalence of this, overwhelmed by diversity and need means for managing it. They cannot manage it themselves. Okay, so here, relativistic thinkers have learned how to make sense out of the world. Correct. Connect it with the big picture. Agreed. And there is a second part of the option that needs to be verified as well, and have chosen their own positions in it. Have they chosen their own positions in it? Have they actually done this? I'll go back and see. Chosen their own positions in it. Resist decision making, suffering this, okay. Depend on the context, no longer, okay. Everything to find its place in an overall framework, okay. Students analytically, using it to, okay, fine. Chosen their own positions, I'm not exactly sure. ऐसा लग रहा है कि like, you know, it's like, ठीक है, they know what they are doing, but then they are not able to make decisions. They resist decision making. They have ambivalence. So I'm going to keep this, but I'm not exactly sure. दो बचने चाहिए options. Committed thinkers are not very sure of their positions. Committed thinkers. Committed. Students do not deny this, okay, assuming they gather personal experience, abstract principles, use these principles, discipline and govern their thoughts and actions. They do everything for their own self. They have chosen to join a particular community, so they are very, very clear about what they are doing. They are very sure of their positions. Not sure, wrong. So this is eliminated. For me, it's between B and C. Now between B and C, relativistic, the first part is correct. The second part is a little doubtful. Third one, multiplicity thinkers have difficulty understanding the relationships between different points of view. This is kind of more directly connected with that para. So I will go with this. This should be your answer. Question 3. Which of the following kinds of thinking is not described in the passage? Not bole to 1 false, 3 true. Okay. People who assume that there is no right or wrong in any issue. Ambivalent. No right or wrong in any issue. Dualism is right or wrong. 100% right, 100% wrong. Who assume that there is no right or wrong? Ambivalent. And then like, you know, the second one, everyone is right. To have an opinion is everyone's right. Okay. And here considered to be self-absolutes, okay, unable to connect, okay. Every point is valid. They are directionless, okay, fine. Yeah, so the second one is assume that there is no right or wrong in any issue, it's given there. Okay. Then people who make unreasoned commitments and stick by them. Unreasoned is dualism. This was aapka multiplicity wala, right? Then people who believe that right or wrong depends on the situation. Relativism, right? People who think that all behavior can be accounted for by cause and effect relationships. Cause and effect and all behavior. I don't think this is given anywhere. All the 4 that we read. So this is your answer. This is false. The other 3 are justified. Okay, ये वाला देखते हैं. If students were asked to write essays on the different concepts of tragedy as exemplified by Cordelia and Antigone, so far I have not seen Cordelia and Antigone there. So this is an external situation given in the question stem. Write essays on the different concepts. Okay, and they all responded, all, by showing how each character exemplified a traditional definition of tragedy. Traditional. We could, according to the passage, understand what about these students. यहाँ पे there are key words. ये देख लो, they all responded by showing how each character exemplified a traditional definition. Traditional. Given down to them, orthodox. We could, according to the passage, understand what. Let's eliminate. The students had reached the commitment stage, absolutely responsible for their own selves, doing introspection, reflection and all. No. So since it is talking about stages, the first was dualism, second multiplicity, third relativism and fourth commitment. So fourth was the most evolved one probably. Okay. The students had at least achieved the multiplicity stage. Multiplicity. Multiplicity was the second one. Various. I'll keep this. The students had not advanced beyond the dualist stage. Because of traditional, I'll keep this. The students were locked into the relativist stage. They did not write it according to the situation. No context. It just says here different concepts of tragedy as exemplified. They all responded in similar ways by showing how each character exemplified a traditional definition, no context definition. So this is out and it's between these two. Now going by the traditional thing, at least achieve the multiplicity stage if you say, that means the student should have a lot of choices. Still they are not able to make decisions because they think everybody is correct. It's democracy, right? How each character exemplified a traditional. It would not be traditional again. Traditional is connected with dualism. So this should be the answer. Had not advanced beyond the dualist stage. अब यही एक option है, right? And the other three are getting eliminated. Which of the following describes the organization? The evolution of thought through four stages is present. Thought, the evolution of thought, how we evolve. Okay. It is shown how each of four types evolve from each other. From. One after the other. Okay. Four methods of thought are presented and each is shown to complement the other. Complement bole to balance. No. He says that you keep advancing. Okay. Complement the other, one balances the other, no way. And evolved from each other. Again, I'm not sure of this. The evolution of thought from simplistic and provincial. Okay. Now, here there's a Gyan point. If I see this and this option and I know that they look similar, I have to understand this, that the answer has to be from these two. Why? Because that is how question setters behave. So, the evolution of thought, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ignore this for the time being and look at these two and try to prove one. Evolution of thought through four stages. Each stage is illustrated by how it views capital punishment. कुछ बोला तो था हर एक में capital punishment, right? The evolution of thought from simplistic and provincial, that is patriarchal, orthodox. Simplistic is extremely simple, naive. Through considered and cosmopolitan is illustrated by four stages. Now between these two, the difference is of this. Go back and check, is it talking about considered and cosmopolitan or it's talking about capital punishment at the end of all the paragraphs? Capital punishment is apt justice for murder. Capital punishment, what sense is there in answering one murder with another? Here, capital punishment is appropriate justice in some instances. And here, a jury of peers has found him guilty and the state has the right to take him to the gallows. This is a principle my community and I endorse. So, we understand that between these two, obviously he is connecting it with this. So let's say you have not understood the entire passage word for word. You are a moderate reader. Still you can just do this. Okay, this is being talked about or this. So through four stages यहाँ भी दिया है, evolution of thought, four stages. So based on this difference, this should be your answer. Hope this is clear, guys. The 5 questions were very doable depending on how you interpreted the paragraphs. Okay, and you had to take the passage mapping. The tricky part was in this question, because this was a pretty long one, the student would have left this question because he would have thought, acha itna lamba, why should I read it? Okay, you can leave it, that's okay. It's not compulsory to do all the questions. But then in case you are able to understand it, you will see that, okay, this is very cool, doable. Sometimes when you get stuck with such a long question, always check the options. It helps. It gives you an idea as to how you're supposed to handle it. Okay. So, B, C, D, B, A, yep, done. All sorted, cool. Hope it was a nice session. Thank you. I'll be back soon.